Alright, so we are now live, I believe. We should be live. I don't know why I'm trying to set everything up as if I'm driving. It's not how this works. I am not driving, I am doing the comms for this. Welcome back! It is week 2, and you'll notice a distinct lack of voice beside me today. This is, last week was just a qualifying thing. This week, our Lobby B commentator isn't actually here. You'll have to... You're stuck with me and only me for the next 2 hours. Let me just tag Ross to make sure he's aware that this is up. Yeah, alright, so I just tagged Ross to let him know that my stream is up. Hopefully he puts in the announcement real quick. Yeah, I seem to be the only one that's actually put that up at the moment. But yeah. We're just setting everything up at the moment. And getting ready for week 2 of ALR eSports. So this could get slightly messy. I will explain it again when more people start joining. But for now anyway, this is going to be Lobby A. The one I am hosting is going to be Lobby A. It will continue to be Lobby A if Claus doesn't qualify into Lobby A, which for those who watched last week, whether it was live with us or afterwards, you'll have a small grasp on how this functions now. But if you haven't, 15 people in Lobby A, 15 people in Lobby B. The start of which the qualifying for this one was is determined by the top 5 in the actual overall standings. So the 5 teams we actually have in Lobby A for this one is Helix, who is currently top of the leaderboard after 1. Then you've got Feel Good Racing, FGR, Arix, Project Platypus, and V2, the surprise Lobby A contestants this time round. I think the announcements may have just been put in, so we should get more people starting to join real quick. For the people who are in right now, can you hear my voice well enough? Am I too loud? Am I too quiet? Let me know let me know what's going on here so I can adjust before we get started properly. Hello, Ross. Yeah, Ross, keep me updated how the Lobby B goes, and we'll go from there later on. Alright, good. If you guys can hear me well enough then, that is exactly what we want to see. So let's just go through who we've got in Lobby A in terms of actual drivers. Because I've said the 5 teams. The 5 teams are currently at the top of the leaderboard after round 1. If you haven't watched, we did round 1 at Road Atlanta last week, which threw out a couple of shocks, and we might be getting into territory of having a few more this week. So, the leaders after 1, Helix, fielded Philip, Flace, and Devil today. There's a GTR 18, RCF, and a M6 respectively there for Helix. Then second is Feel Good Racing, the FGR lads. You won't be able to miss them. They all have FGR at the start of their name. But yeah, Super GT cruised to victory last week. Didn't get any help from his teammates Ryoki or Rabak last week. Rabak is not here. He's been replaced by Rupi. So let's see what Rupi can do on his ALR debut. And Ryoki, as we mentioned, only was in Lobby B and only got 9th in that lobby. Was expected a lot more from the lad that was I think he was like 12th in the world in time trial coming into that race at Road Atlanta. But hopefully, well, there's a potential for redemption here today. Third is Arix, I believe. So they are far more familiar to this league. They competed in the first season of ALR eSports. They did come second, however, they did win the final race at the Nordschleife at the end of the season, albeit everything was already packed up well and truly by that point. They're bringing Javi in the Huracan, Slim in the Huracan, and Ben, or Arix MK, I probably will fluctuate between the two of those tonight, is in the M6. Fourth is Project Platypus, and it wasn't the strongest lineup from them last week. They are going to bring a stronger lineup this week, however. So they've got Kellen, we saw last week, was in Lobby A. Zico as well in Lobby A last week. Kellen in the RCF, Zico in the RX Vision, but then they've got probably their strongest driver today as well. Viking in the M6, making his Season 2 debut, but is a very familiar name around these parts, looking to try and take it to Javi and to Super GT today at the very least. And then the final team that will that is involved in the proceedings for qualifying, we'll get started in a minute or two here. Actually, in that note, let me go ahead and do that, make sure everyone is ready before we even get into this. So we've got Eroticos, who didn't race last week, is racing this week. GTR Nismo 18. You got Snipes, who was the surprise package of last week's race, beating out Iggy in the end. I think he got 5th overall, he had an exceptional qualifying. He's in the M6. And Skyline, who threatened to do a very similar scenario as Snipes last week, but tailed off very, very handsomely towards the end, I guess, right towards the back, with Skyline. He's in an M6 as well. And that brings us up to the 15 people that will be in this lobby for qualifying in Lobby A. It is a highlight to beat you. You are literally the best person the server has ever seen in terms of stats, in terms of records, in terms of any factual statistic from this league. You literally have all of them. It is very much a highlight to see you fall. But yeah, I've put in the starting soon. I'm going to do one last settings check here. And but yeah, one last settings check, and we my voice is not liking that, but we should be good to go. Alright, we are starting qualifying now. Yeah, we are starting qualifying, hoping that Lobby B sorts their stuff out at the moment. Everything's sorted there. We're going to spectate here. So, round 2, Sunrise at Trial Mountain. 38 laps of the race, and there you go. Just hear the massive, the loud claps, and especially my ear, which signifies that we are off and running. So, who is going to have the best? Who's going to leave first? Who's got the closest connection to me? I guess that's going to be Snipes. And Snipes is the first one out the pit. So V2 should in fact have a clear run here then, provided he isn't going to make any mistakes on his outlap. If anyone needs me to adjust the game volume or anything, please let me know. I can do that as we go through qualifying. Yeah, but for now, Snipes followed by Javi and then Rupee afterwards. Oh god, it's alright, cards at the back, and for some reason the game still had them at the front. Oh, Rupee! Oh, Rupee spun it already! Rupee has spun it already! That is not a good start for FGR, who are looking to bounce back from a couple of drivers outside the Super GT, having an absolute mare last week. And that is definitely not a good way to start this one. Well, we're going to go back to the front. Rupee's already made a glaring mistake here in qualifying. He's lucky it's on his outlap. It's light damage as well, so it should not in any way, shape or form affect any of his laps. So he's going to get away with it, but it is still quite the mistake. Too deep, went straight into the wall and bounced off. So he's gonna have to do a bit better than that if Super GT is gonna get some help this week. But first and foremost, we're gonna go through qualifying, and the first of which is coming to the line now. We are now up and running here for week 2 here in ALR eSports. We are now on to the first of the qualifying laps. Snipes was the first over the line. Javi's just gone over as well. Viking further back in that. So we are just setting up. Hopefully people are giving each other gaps. It doesn't look like that's the case in the midfield there. But we'll see what the benchmark is to be put down. Some people have been saying that 47s are probably the benchmark. Maybe somewhere in the mid of the 47s here. So we'll wait and see if that rings true. Or if we go quicker, we go slower. I don't know. I'm not really too familiar with the track times around here. Outside of that one Race of Champions we did a few weeks ago, but that was about a month ago now, so I have well and truly forgot the times from that race. So, Snipes still on his lap. He is still the first one out for qualifying. He's going to try and replicate his second place that he got in Lobby A in qualifying last week at Road Atlanta. He's going to have to do something special in order to do that. This grid this week is supposedly stronger, so we'll see if it can match up to the rest of them. He is going through the final sector now. Told me the reason why he got a bunch of he got better results than last season was because he practiced. I've seen him put in the hours for this one as well, so it might be the case that practice is going to translate over yet again. He is going to come to the final chicane now, in first gear, up to second immediately. And then goes through the chicane in second gear. Is he going to go up to third? He is not. He is now at the exit of the corner, and to the line he goes. Javi is now into the pits, so we're not going to keep him out for much longer. And it's a 48.4 here for Snipes. What is Viking going to do? Over the line, 46, 47, 48.1. That's 3/10 on Snipes there. Zico actually going quicker again. 48.1. Slim the next one to the line. 49.8 is not going to do it. Rupee 48.7 beat Slim, but that's about it. Skyline here as well. 48.9. Ryoki is only in the 49.3s. See if we can find anyone else here. Super GT still on his first lap as well. 49.3 for Flays. 49.3 for Philip as well. 48.9 for Kellen. We're just getting through the rest of the first lap. And on that note, we're gonna go back real quick and see what we can find here. So Snipes is still obviously the first car out. We're actually gonna continue to watch him for now, but we can I definitely anticipate a few more pit stops coming this lap than the last lap, given the fact that we did see some people pit straight away. Might not see some pits at all either later on, depending on how people feel on the tyres. This does not look like a good lap here for Snipes by any means. That looked a bit slow, nothing else, coming into the third sector. Don't know if he's improving. We're never going to find out. He is into the pits. Viking into the pits as well. Zico, the next car up, he is going as well. Let's see. 3 into the pits. Will Devil follow them? The answer to that is yes. Devil will follow them. Will Rupee? Rupee is not going to follow them, so we'll actually stay out here and watch Rupee's lap. Slim is in front of him as well. Let's see if Slim's going to improve. Slim, it doesn't look like... Oh, he is going to improve. 48.9. Rupee on the other hand, 48.6. So that is enough for 5th now for Rupee in this. Let's see if he's going to stick there. I also want to see very, very soon here what the plan is from Super GT. It's 48.646 there for Flays, 48.4 for Philip, 48.4 for Kellen. Bearing in mind, if you're looking for a safe bet, you're probably somewhere around about 7th or 8th in this lobby is usually a good enough sign that you're going to make it into Lobby A for qualifying. For the actual race itself, sorry. That's where you're probably looking. Ryoki only in 11th right now, which means he might be going to Lobby B again. He needs to find some time. He needs to find some time quickly here. We're currently on Super GT. Super GT is looking probably 47s realistically. I'd be very surprised if Super GT found himself in a place where he would not be in Lobby A for the race. 51.2 for Aero, because he's got to get an actual lap in 47, 48, 48.4, 7th for Super GT. I think he can do better than that. I think he can definitely do better than that. Let's have a look again. Snipes is not the person closest to the line. That would be Rupee. So, let's see. He stayed out. He has improved to 48.6 on the prior lap. He's got this and probably a couple more. We're only 7.5 minutes through, so he should definitely get 2 more shots at this. Let's see if he goes to the line. Rupee, 46, 47. It is better. 48.3 is good enough for 4th at the moment. That is a lot better, actually. Viking. Oh, I'm not entirely sure what the camera angle was showing me there, but it wasn't why Viking's car was. Zico and Viking right now, 1 and 2 in this qualifying session. The outlaps here. Rupee's now gone back to the pits, so I'm not entirely sure what the plan is to him. Snipes is doing. Snipes is going. We're going to go on Snipes. Javi 48.7. He's got to do better than that. He's got to do a lot better than that. He's only going to get 1 or 2 more shots at it as well. So he's got to find some pace and find it quickly. Snipes has a purple first sector. So V2 might be in a good place yet again. Well, he would be if he didn't slide in his car on the entrance to the tunnel there. Rupee is staying in the pit, so he's going to try and hope that this is what he's done already is good enough. Ben doing a 49.6, I think it was there, and it didn't look impressive. It was a 49.6, 50.8 for Aero, he's almost certainly heading in the direction of Lobby B, and 47.9, there you go. Super GT has finally showed up. It took him 9 minutes of qualifying, but he's on top of the leaderboard right now. Alright, so Lobby B hasn't started yet, so if you have people who are in here watching their teams, if you can inform your drivers that we might be on a little bit of a delay after Lobby A. Qualifying is over, that'd be appreciated. Caval had a little bit of an issue trying to join Plaza's lobby, so trying to get that sorted. Here comes Snipes to the line. Snipes to the line. Is he going to be able to put himself... No, he isn't. That's not going to get him anywhere. Not going to get him anywhere anytime soon. Super GT has got a penalty, so that will effectively be the end of Super GT's qualifying, albeit it doesn't really need anything anyway. He is perfectly fine. I think Philip and Viking are going to go for 1 more. Javi 48.3. Devil 47.7. 48.4 for Skyline, but Devil has beaten out Super GT. Oh, and all the fighting talk that Sick did for the first week should have been applied to this one, because it was almost a quarter of a second the gap. But we're not done yet. Just seeing as we get to the line. Kellen's there. Just going through now. Ben's not done enough there either. Ryoki again. Just not getting anywhere with it. 49.9, so Rotocons is almost certainly heading in the direction of Lobby B. Super GT, yeah, it's not gonna be pole for him this time. Devil has beaten him out, at least in Lobby A. We don't know what will happen in Lobby B. That's got about 10 minutes of actual qualifying to do. We're going to see if we can get to the guys closest to the line now. Snipes is going to be the first one to finish. Snipes is currently 7th. That should, in theory, be good enough. We still have 5 or 6 guys and a bunch of people overtaking each other for some reason in the final sector. Snipes to the line. Is he going to be able to improve on his 48.4? The answer is yes, but not by an awful lot. The Rupee is in the pit. Habby is here. But it's going to be Devil that goes to the line. Will he improve again? Will he do it again? No, he won't. No, he will not. Habby doing a 48.1. That's good enough for 4. 48.7 for Slim. 48.3 for Skyline's good enough for 6. Philip and Viking both go to the line, and neither are going to improve. And that will seal the deal here for qualifying in Lobby A. It's Devil from Super GT from Zico. 1, 2, 3 in this lobby. 2 of which got into the 47s. 47.7. Almost flat 47.7. Is the one that's going to actually take pole position. Or we would like to think is pole position. I'd be very surprised if Lobby B was able to throw up a time quicker than that. That is an outstanding lap there from Devil. M6 first, M6 second, Mazda third. Then you got Javi in fourth. He did a 48.140. Only 300ths behind Zico. 3,000ths ahead of Viking, who's in fifth in the M6. So, that was an electrifying qualifying. Skyline, Snipes, those two should be there as well, so V2 should be well represented in Lobby A again. The top 11 separated by just over, well, top 10 by 3/4 of a second to the dot. But yeah, top 11 by 0.767. You would expect everyone from 12th down to be disappearing off into Lobby B when that is done. Slim does not sound too happy with Philip. That's the first one there. Lobby B is still having issues. But yeah, for those who are wondering, we will have a little delay. And by a little delay, I think they haven't even started yet, which is a little bit annoying. But I apologize for that in advance. But yeah, as for everything else that's going on, so realistically, we see that the cutoff time in these lobbies is usually around the second mark. Usually. I say usually like we've got a bunch of data on this. We don't. We have one race. But we expect it to be around the second mark at the end of the day. I have a funny feeling I don't know which side of the board Slim is going to be on. Slim is going to be the close one. Everyone below Slim is not going to be in Lobby A. They are not going to be quick enough, surely. Being 1.6 seconds off the pace is not usually a good sign. If that's the case, Ryoki again into B. MK as well, and Eroticos will join them. That's one for V2, so you can take away V2's thing of one of the two teams having every single driver into Lobby A, so that you can take that one off the board. The other team that has done that is Halex through 2, and they currently sit 9th and 10th, so it's not exactly like they're in great positions either to make it. So wait and see whereabouts the delta lies. But then again, at the same time, usually when I say top 7, there is less than a 10th of a second splitting 7th and 11th. So it would be... I would feel fairly aggrieved if there's someone in the middle of there to cut off. Rupee on his debut, top 8, top half. That's not going to be too bad for him, I don't think. But yeah, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible to see just how close everyone can be. Obviously, Devil the exception tonight, especially in qualifying. We'll see if that continues to be the case in the rain. In the race itself, not in the rain. It can't rain here. It can't rain in America at all in GT for some reason. But look at that. Skyline is 6.664 back, right? And if you just want to flip the page again, it's essentially 1/10, almost to the dot, between 6th and 11th. And that spans multiple teams as well, by the way. That spans both the top V2 drivers, Rupee for FGR, Flays and Philip for Helix, and Kellen of Project Platypus. So it's not like those teams, those are the same team hitting the same mark. It's everyone hitting the same mark. Realistically, though, I would expect... I would be surprised if all 3 Helix don't make it, and in turn all 3 Project Platypus don't make it. Should be 2 for V2. At least Javi in for Arix. There might be a couple heading to B from that team. As to question who parked it on the finish line, I believe that's Flays. Also, if I am saying anybody's name wrong, or somebody from someone's team catches me butchering a name, please tell me, so I don't end up butchering the name for the entirety of the race following. But also, for that matter, Iggy, your team captain for Helix, would you please remind Flays not to put his car directly on the line at the end of qualifying? That even if he's in the way or not, that's just not how we do things. We come on. If you're not going to get if you don't want to do another lap, just go into the pits. Not that hard. But yeah, that's the one I wanted to pick up. Apparently, there's been an issue between Philip and Slim throughout in the actual qualifying. Not entirely sure where that's gonna come into things, or how that's gonna play out in terms of if that gets reported. But either way, it's not going to affect this qualifying. This qualifying is well and truly over and done with. But we're waiting for a B at this point in time. Ross, if you're in this chat, has B started yet? I hope B started. Let's have a look. Let me see if I can find the stream here. See if we can figure this out. But yeah, I apologize again for the delay. They have, in fact, started in Lobby B, and they've actually gone through the first nearly 7 minutes, actually, through here in qualifying. I think that's a 6. I might be blind. I hope that's a 6. But yeah, so we shouldn't be, we shouldn't be too far away in terms of figuring out who goes where and then everyone else. I'll apologize to the drivers. I don't know if people have let the drivers know, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this race. I'm hoping I still get to commentate A, because there is a scenario where I don't get to commentate Lobby A. But hopefully I do, because there's going to be an absolute bucket list worth of names to actually keep an eye out on in Lobby A tonight. Apologies. Yeah, we got a couple of minutes just to kill. Anyone got, whilst we still have 11 people in here, I don't know if people are watching Lobby B or anything, have we got any predictions for the actual race itself on either side of Lobby A, Lobby B, or whatever you want to try and throw out? Anyone got any predictions? Screw fracas. I got distracted, alright. I do have the NFL in the background of my stream. I think Super GT will still win from P2. I'm fairly confident in that as well. Either way, it is possible that Super GT might have a little bit more help this week, because Rupee has out-qualified both of the other two Helix drivers, so there may be some help for him. One thing's for sure, he will be in a bigger fight tonight than he was this time last week. He won last week, for those who are unaware, by 22 seconds. And it was never really in doubt. It was essentially game, set, and match over 6 corners, pretty much. By the end of the first sector, he'd gone. But yeah. At this point in time, just, I don't expect him. I don't expect him to be 20 seconds up on the rest of the grid again. I'd be incredibly surprised if that's a scenario that happens. But we are looking at, what, 47.7 is the best time overall. That won't get beat. Lobby B will not beat that. I'm extremely convinced of that sentence as well. The real question is, where's the cutoff? Because you've got to remember, there's 15 people. 15 people go into this lobby, 15 people go into Lobby B. We just got to figure out where the time realistically is, where that crossover period between the two lobbies actually is. And at the moment, the fastest lap is a 48.6 from what I can see. 48.6, let's have a very quick look at where that puts us here. 48.6 is the fastest time in Lobby B, which is actually just in front of Slim. That would be just in front of Slim. So the top 11 at this point in time have done quicker times than anyone else in the other lobby. Which would suggest that Slim will make it. Slim will definitely make it. That would put, realistically, the top 3 potentially from Lobby B in here. Capel just doing a decent time there, 48.7. I know this is just turning into me updating from here, I guess. But I'm just trying to figure out realistically where this balance kind of sits at the moment. But at this point in time, your top 11 very much clear. So that would, as it stands, make 3 Helix drivers in Lobby A. It would make 3 Project Platypus drivers in Lobby A. 2 FGRs, 2 V2s, and 2, if you want to include 2 Slim as well, by virtue of it should realistically happen, would also be 2 Arixes from this lobby as well. 48.6 was the best time. 48.744, which is actually slower than Slim. So top 12 in here are set. 49.1 is the one after that. Caviar Fluffy, but is going to be the one that misses out, I think. Because Owen Yeah, Owen, Capel, and Chris, I think, are going to join us. If I have done my maths correctly, I should still be commentating Lobby A, and we're going to be joined by Chris from Pegasus, Capel, and Owen from Aero GT. So that's who I'm anticipating, which would mean that Ryoki, MK, and Eroticos are the three that will depart from this lobby. Time looks significantly slower from Lobby B. I'm gonna take a drink so I don't choke. 1 second. Thank you, Iggy. Alright, 4, 3, 4, 5. 5 red lights. It's lights out, away we go. Who's going to get the better start here? I apologise for the muted. Super GT looks like he's got the better start off the line here as we head down towards turn 1 and the lights are not blinding this time. Super GT has, however, hit the lead of this race off the first corner, and FGR had the lead of this race immediately. That did not take long at all. Devil did not get off to a good start. They're in the same car. So, M6 Mazda, still the front three. I think everyone got through that perfectly fine as we head into the second sector here. It looks like everyone is still alive. We're still going 2 and 3 wide, and I don't think they're alive much longer. Well, everyone actually got away with that. I think they've all managed to get out unscathed. That looked like a collision there. I'm not entirely sure if that was Rupee on the inside, but it was someone. And that looked like a collision, and somehow everyone got away from that without dying. That is an impressive save, and I don't think he'll be too happy with that nonetheless. Yeah, apologies for the mute. I was taking a drink and then apparently forgot that I forgot to unmute myself afterwards. Feel like a decent chunk. So we go through here into the third sector. So, oh, we got someone facing the wrong way. We got someone facing the wrong way. It's Rupee. It's Rupee. He's facing the wrong way there. So FGR, whilst having a great race at the start, in terms of Super GT here in the front, already in a bad position with the second one of their drivers that are in this lobby at the back of the grid because he spanned the car already. Snipes doing well to hold off Owen there. The two GTR 18s starting to try and make their way through. Blaze it up in 8th. We've got 3 wide coming down the straight here. Viking and Philip are 2 of those. It looks like side by side. The build's got a little bit wide. I don't know if there's any sort of contact there, but Philip is going to surrender that place to Viking in the end. Viking, a little bit of I think almost a double switchback if by the looks of things there. And Philip is now under fire from Slim as well, and I think Slim is going to get that on the outside as they head into Sector 2. They're still side by side. It's still happening. And there you go. Philip manages to hold on by the skin of his teeth there onto the position that was gained by Slim a couple corners before. Slim getting a little bit too close now to the end, to the inside of the bank corner before the tunnel. Let's see what we're going to have down the straight here. Let's see if we got anything down towards the first corner. Super GT currently has a 6/10 of a second gap to Devil. So qualifying went in the way of Helix, but at the moment the front of this race is squarely in Super GT's hands. And then Devil is now a second ahead of Zico. Zico just a little bit slower than the 2 up front. It looks like they're starting to, just level starting to form within the ranks here. And Javi in 4th as well. Javi came 2nd last week, so he's looking to add to that second. Irix have been in 2nd in every single ALR eSports race bar 1 in which they won. So take that as a good record if you want. And Skyline in 5th, Viking in 6th. He's got to try and make his way back. He's got to then head towards the front of the pack. He's got to find some sort of time here on Super GT, on JM Devil, and even his own teammate currently sat in 3rd. Then you got the 2 Helix drivers, 7th and 8th right now. They both gained their position off of, well, at least one position off of Rupee's mistake. Rupee's still at the back of the grid right now. His spin didn't cost him too much. He hasn't tailed off. He's got a long way to come back. He needs to find some ground within the first few laps here. We are going for 38 laps around Trial Mountain. It is sunrise. It is expected to get later into the morning. Time progression is on for the race, but isn't on for qualifying, which will explain why it never got to there in qualifying. For anyone who may have been wondering, Philip is doing a decent job here, starting to break away from his teammate and heading towards Viking all over again. Slim is also right on the back of Flades right now. Flades in the Lexus, not an OP car by any means, but it does have a good fuel tank. Probably one of the better fuel tanks in the game. The last time I checked, here comes Slim, potentially to the inside. He's going to go for this, so he looked like he was going for this. He might still go for this to the inside. Flades going way too far on the outside to stop the overtake happening entirely. Oh, a little bit of a collision between the 2 of them. Flades somehow holds on. Capale is getting himself involved now. Slim doing just about enough. Well, actually, Flades doing just about enough, rather, to stay in the position. May have been a little bit of contact between the 2 on the way through. Let's have a quick look at the front. Super GT now is 8/10 of a second, 9/10 of a second, heading up towards the second mark on JM Devil. And as it stands, that quarter-second gap in qualifying isn't going to mean anything, as Super GT again starting to take control. But as Sick rightly pointed out in the Discord after last week's race, this is very much a team championship. If it was a single driver championship, Super GT would be cruising out in front, but it's a team championship. He needs some help, and he needs some help very quickly. Because the longer this goes, the longer the gap's just going to grow between them, and especially Helix. And Especially, well, if Project Platypus can start getting multiple guys in the top 5 every race, as they currently will do here when Viking gets the Skyline, it's just going to be a matter of time before Project Platypus start putting the foot down as well. They've got to get something. They've got to get Super GT some help. Yeah, 1.2 seconds now split Super GT and Devil. Then it's a 7/10 of a second gap between Devil and Zico. And Zico is going to have better tires. He might potentially have better fuel as well. So Zico might be in an absolutely fantastic position for especially a podium. Strategy may dictate he might get higher than that. 1.7 seconds now split Zico and Javi. Javi is not having a good day at the office in terms of trying to get on the podium. Skyline 2.4 seconds behind that, and Viking is now very much onto the back of the V2 driver. Then you got Philip in 7th, who hasn't let Viking get out of his sight by any means. Capel is now in 8th, Blade in 9th, Slim in 10th. So Capel is the big winner here. He gained the 2 positions on the 2 drivers. Capel almost having a bit of a moment there. He might have just about avoided the front of Blader's car as well. So Capel is going to stay on the track, and Blader's going to have to try and figure something out here. Capel into turn 1, still with the advantage, and yet that's not going to disappear through the first couple of corners. Down toward the end of the first sector here, Capel might have actually extended the gap a little bit. Slim is also going to try and fight Blaze here at some point, if he can get close enough. Kellen 1.2 seconds off the back of Slim. Snipes off the back there. Rupee up in the 13th. Chris and Owen not having a good time here at all. Those two must have made mistakes as well to be dropping behind Rupee. Rupee almost in another collision there. They're just looking at the angle of the 2 cars going through that corner. Rupee very much preferred the inside line. It's a very short line as well, whereas everyone else seems to be widening the corner and taking it in that respect. Here comes Rupee to the inside here on Snipes. This will be for 12th position in this race, and he has done it fairly well as a whole there, and it's not going to be fought back very hard here by Snipes. It's about as easy as an overtaking you're going to get from someone fighting through the back of the pack. He's got to now catch up to Kellen without Snipes being too much of an issue. Kellen is getting onto the back of this group, and he has actually got himself within a second. Then you got Blades in 9th, and Capel still here as well. Then you go further forward. Viking is starting to drop Philip a little bit as he catches up to Skyline. He might be about to make a move on Skyline. This might be the buffer that Viking would absolutely love to have if he can get himself in a good position on the straight line here. He's got the outside line, will have the outside line. He's actually going to be well in front by the time we even hit turn 1. So Viking up in the 5th. He's got to charge down Javi and Zico now. They're the next 2 on the block. Javi has been dropped well and truly by Zico now, by the way. 2 seconds either side of Javi in 4th. Zico 1.3 behind Devil. That is a little bit larger than what we found the last time we were here. That did not look too well controlled into the second sector. And he's going to lose time there, yeah, on both sides of the coin. Devil gained a couple of attempts, and Javi jumps almost an entire second. And you can see you've got 1.1 also between Super GT and Devil as well. Not quite fighting range here for Devil at this point in time. Zico in the same boat. Javi has now got himself back onto the back in within a second of Zico. And all it seems is one mistake is enough to kind of just eviscerate the gap Zico had built up. And Viking 3.4 seconds back. Skyline is Skyline is trying. Skyline is definitely trying. We'll have a look at Devil tires in 1 second here. Yeah, Skyline's definitely trying to have a go at Viking, and it's not working at this point in time. Skyline and the billet as well. Capel, it doesn't look like anything's happened. Oh, that's a lie, because Blades might be being overtaken here, and he is, because Slim is going to overtake him there, and Slim's going to take 9th off of the Helix driver. And that might allow that is going to allow the 2 Lexus to go out to each other. Kellen and Blaze. And Rupee is now back in the fight here. Rupee's got to realize that after his mistake earlier on, he sees 4 cars. He sees a top 8 finish at the moment, or a top 8 standing after, well, 6 laps here. On to lap 7 now. Chris is still here as well. Snipes has had a problem and that drops him to 14th for now, and is at the back of the grid. Devil's tyres are significantly worse than Super GT. That is not good news. And as I said before, qualifying time means nothing. Not when it comes to the race. Not when it comes to the fact that equal conditions and everything is turned off. You've got to actually be good on your tyres in these kind of races as well. And Devil is not in any way, shape or form being kind to the tyres. And when you're driving against one of the fastest drivers in the world, you're going to need better tyres than that. Especially when it's got, what, 20% better at the front of the grid here. Zico is under fire from Javi. Let's see if anything's going to happen here. Zico's going to defend that well. He's going to hold on against Javi for now. 3rd place still in the hands of Project Platypus. Same with 5th. Capale and, look like Capale and company at the back here maybe having a bit of a fight themselves. Capale, Slim, Flaze is going to try as well. Slim's going to try and switch back to the outside. That's not going to work. Capale is defending like his life depends on it into the beginning of the 3rd sector here. Also in the background here, Kellen and Rupee having a fight. It looks like Rupee has managed to get himself involved, and Chris might be about to as well. The Pegasus driver, the first time they've seen one of their drivers into Lobby A, and that might be a collision just a little bit. Someone's gone off the track. And Rupee's gone up into 11th. That looked like a lot to digest. I'm not entirely sure who got hit, who was there. What actually happened there. It looked like contact, but I need a second replay to fully digest what I just watched. Pale is still at the head of this train. Rupee gains a position on Callan. Play sticks 9th, Slim sticks in 8th. Maybe attempt here for Kellen to go around the outside. It looked like he went very deep there, but Rupee's still hanging on. And he is going to do this fairly well. Let's have a look real quick at the tyre situation in terms of what tyres everyone else is on. Down the list, so we're going down, and it looks like everyone minus Snipes. Oh, it's Snipes and Skyline. Yes, Skyline pitted. Skyline did pit. So Skyline is now on medium tyres. I'm not entirely sure what he did at the start. That didn't look good. Chris has spanned the car at the very least. It doesn't look like it's damaged him too badly, but he has got damage to that front left, and he's going to lose out both Snipes and to Owen as well. It looked like Snipes almost had a bit of an issue himself. Snipes is the only other person on a medium tyre. Flaze is going after Slim. The attention was taken off this battle for a moment. Flaze on the inside at the hairpin. He isn't going to get it done. Slim defends well. That seems to be the tail so far here at Trial Mountain. Everyone seems to be within shooting range, but not really doing anything at all in terms of an overtake, because the car in front of them is defending exceptionally well. And it's to be expected in the high standards of driving here. Only on lap 8. We've only had the one pit so far. That is Snipes. That is Skyline, sorry. He is tailed off at the back at this point in time. We'll see where he comes out in terms of net position when everyone else pits. Slim still going after Capale, and Capale is still leading the train down towards turn 1. Nothing has changed at the moment. Let's see, Rupee to the inside. Doesn't look like he's gone for the move there at all. Javi actually into 3rd. You are right. 7/10 on Zico. Zico looks like he's just struggling a little bit now. I think it might have something to do with those tyres just a little bit. It looks like the rears on Javi's are worse, but Zico's fronts are definitely not playing kind. Javi is up in a 3rd. Viking is starting to catch up his teammate as well. 1.7 seconds split them. He is 2 seconds ahead. And Slim, something's happened to Capale. Capale's had a bit of an issue here. Capale's got damage. Actually, Capale has got damage to his front. I think that was his front left. Yeah, and he must have just slid the car onto the entrance into the tunnel. He's dropped all the way to 11th. We've got to fight a little bit further up. Plays Slim and I think that's Rupee as well. It is Rupee. Rupee might have a good exit to the inside against Flades. No, he will not. So Flades will hold on to 8th. He's still behind Slim, and the longer we go here, the longer Slim is going to enjoy his position. He doesn't have Capel in front of him now either, so he should be able to start. In theory, he should be unleashed. We'll see now if he had actually had more pace than Capel did. See if he can break away from the chasing pack. But we now have what? That's 6, nearly 7 cars right on the back of each other back here. We separated into essentially 2 packs. The pack for the lead, and then this absolute cluster right at the back of the grid here. Spanning all the way back to I think that's 14th. Then you got Skyline, who's obviously pitted, is the one that's at the back. But it does look like Super GT has started to open a gap. And that's what we're going to just go forward to see. Yeah, and it is the tyres that are doing it. You can see Devil's tyres are not in a good place. It's just under half here for Super GT. And Devil might be out of tyre in a couple of laps of this rate. The question is, which one's going to go first? His tyre or his fuel? It's 5 seconds now, Super GT and Devil. And you can have all the qualifying pace you want. The race is where it matters. In fact, the race is the only place that matters. It looks like Zico still within a second here on Javi. Viking 1.4 now, so he is closing in. He's also extending to Philip as well. He's using all his tyres all right. He's using all his tyres maybe just a little bit too quickly. As Super GT is now into the pits. So Super GT, in he goes. Devil goes in as well. Viking's going to follow them. So Javi stays out. Zico stays out. It looks like Philip is going to stay out as well. Yeah, Philip is going to stay out in his GTR. He's going to jump into third momentarily then. Slim is going to stay out. And you can tell that all the M6 are just starting to head in now. Blade stays out as well. Kellen, Rupee into the pits. Snipes into the pits off of his medium tyres. Capel into the pits as well. Probably could have gone one. Probably should have got one more. We'll wait and see how this unfolds. And then Skyline. The interesting part now, whilst there's not really a battle going on track, is where is Skyline coming out in all of this? Bearing in mind that Skyline is the one that's just coming down the straight now. We see Rupee, not Rupee, we see Super GT and company go. Did Javi bin it? Oh, he did! He got damage! He's got damage to the rear of his car. Good spot. Good spot. I did not see that. Too busy engrossed in the pit stop battle. And, yeah, Javi's pinned it. Zico's 4 seconds up the road now. Oh, and there's Philip as well. That is not good news by any way, shape, or form for Arix. As Javi is put in the wall, his damage has gone away now, just in time for Philip to join on the back of him. Zico's got to be loving life now. He's got a breather and a lot of room to work with. Alright, let's see. Is there a pit stop coming? There is for both of the drivers. So Zico stays out. Javi and Philip both into the pits. What's Slim going to do? So we go back to this, everyone just going through the pit stop phase of the race at the moment. In comes Slim. It's Flade joining. Flade is coming in as well. Will Kellen stay out? Kellen is going to stay out. And I think that Owen behind him is as well. Okay, so 3 drivers elect to stay out longer. Lap 11, about to go on to lap 12 of 38. It would require a 26 lap stint here in on the medium tyres, which by no means is impossible, but if your fuel is running out after 12, then I don't know if you're going to be able to make it. Would be interesting to see, but Zico currently has 18 seconds on his teammate. Absolutely huge. Also, Devil got out in front of Super GT. Let's see what's happened. Oh, it's a fuel. It's the fuel. Okay, so that's digesting what happened here. So Super GT'd gone on to another set of medium tyres and intend to take them onto a set of medium tyres. Sorry, he was on soft to start with. And intend to take them relatively long by the looks of that fuel tank. That's where the difference has come, as Devil goes on to another softs and will have to sit his medium for last. It is a big difference, but Devil's got to make this count now. He's got to start making a bigger gap. He's got to break this. It's 3.5 now. He's got to get this a lot larger than that. Because I have a funny feeling if you get Super GT on a medium tire, on a soft tire, well, he's on a medium. The reverse would imply that Super GT is going to start driving away. So Zico now into the pits. Maybe Kellen and Owen might follow them. Wait and see, but the lead is currently sitting with Devil on track of the hole. Super GT, 4 seconds back. He is. Devil has actually paid attention. He's starting to put the foot down. All three of them did go into the pits. But we'll see how this goes through as a whole. Viking was 8 seconds back. Zico is currently here. We'll see whether or not Viking is going to be beat out the pits here by Zico. Zico has put 61% fuel. That did not look good from Philip in the background, who has jumped Fabi out the pits, by the way. Let's see where the two teammates are going to come out against each other. Zico is out ahead of Viking. So Zico is out ahead of Viking. Philip and Javi are fighting their way through here into turn 1. Is Javi going to do it? Javi is going to do it. He's going to get himself up into 5th, but he is going to take a second penalty. He got it done, but he cut too much. And by cutting too much, he's definitely going to have to surrender that position back at the end of this lap. That might be a costly penalty come the end of this one. Look at the difference between the fuel. Philip did put in less fuel than Javi did. The fuel gauges are, the fuel and what people put in the fuel is what's really interesting here. They're all going to play out later. Here comes the penalty here for Javi. He's going to serve this at the end of this straight, I'm pretty sure. So Philip will gain 5th place back. Oh, they're on the main straight. Ah, right. Right. That makes somewhat more sense, I guess. Even though there is a gigantic back straight. Maybe they thought maybe Pilifany finally thought something may have been too much of a challenge. But yeah. So it will be the main straight. Yeah, it's corrected here. It's that Javi takes a penalty on. You can see that by the slowing down above his head now, actually. 0.8 of a second into what is the gap that separates them heading into the chicane. It did not look like too great of a chicane there by Philip by any means. Yeah, he just surrendered about 3 or 4 attempts. Javi will lose the position, but it won't be as comfortable as it was before, but it is still rather comfortable as a whole. Still within maybe half a second, just over. Javi isn't going to complain too much, I don't think. Still being within a second into turn 1 after the penalty. Don't think he will be too disappointed with that at all. Let's have a look further forward. So it's 5.4 now between Devil and Super GT. So there's also a little bit of colliding with a wall. That playing with fire a little bit maybe. But yeah, he is starting to gap Super GT just a little bit here. That's what he needs to do. He needs to keep the foot to the floor right now. Because any sort of gap he can get is a bonus. Bearing in mind, I'm guessing he's aware that the same is going to be in reverse later on into this race, the mediums versus the soft in the opposite direction. So that'll be Super GT. That's what Super GT will be relying on here. He's 6 seconds ahead of Zico right now. Zico shouldn't really be too much of a factor in winning the race now. Viking 3 seconds off the back of that, who's cleared 5 seconds ahead of Philip, who's now second ahead of Javi, as Snipes and Skyline are going after each other, and Snipes might be going a bit wide there, but he is in fact going to get himself ahead of Skyline here. The third Halex, we will go find him in a minute. Skyline there, and Slim is on the back of the 2v2 drivers. There you go. Capel in 10th, Blaze in 11th. There you go, that's your third Helix driver. He's currently 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds against Capel right now, and 4 seconds up on Owen. Rupee and Kellen are there and thereabouts on Owen as well. They've got to get by. They've got to get by real quick, and I think that's Chris as well. Just trying to get themselves out of this train, potentially. All past Owen, who's the leader of these four at the moment. We go down toward turn 1. Will Kellen try? Kellen looked for it, definitely looked for it, but won't continue to try and make the move. But as we go through here, so Rupee not able to get Owen. Blaze also just dropped about half a second there to Capel. He is losing time as well to Owen. Skyline overtaken by Slim now as well, so Slim up in the 8th. Good drive from him. Snipes is driving off into the distance now. He's trying to track down Javi, actually, who is now back onto the back of Philip. The front four very much separated, but the rest of the grid all contained within about half the straight. So we'll see whether or not any issues are going to be forced here by anyone at the back. Well, in the middle of the grid here, actually. I'm not even going to be able to call it the back because it's right smack in the middle. But yeah, the top 5 are well and truly on their way. The top 4, sorry. We'll see later on whether or not fuel is going to be much of an issue. We'll go and see what the gap between Super GT and Devil is at the end of the turn 1 here. Javi is close to Philip. He is about 4/10 of a second. I don't know if that's close enough down the main straight, or down the home straight, sorry. And it isn't enough. He's about 2/10 of a second behind Philip as they head into turn 1. He's still got to get in front of Philip here after the penalty earlier on. But for Farix's sake, Javi needs to start making his way towards Viking rather than being stuck in this battle here. Snipes is also trying to put his name on the map. He did it against Diggy last week. He got Viking the car directly in front of him now. Javi, sorry, not Viking. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, Javi's the car in front of him now. We'll see if anything is if he's gonna get another one here today. Let's have a look. So 6.5, 6.6 now is the gap between Devil and Super GT, and the same between Super GT and Zika. 3 seconds then split Zika and Viking. And nothing has actually come out of the straight here. Everyone is... oh, are they? Snipes is going to the inside here against Javi. Is he going to make the move happen? It looks like he might. He's definitely in front at the moment. Down the hill they go. They're still side by side. A little bit of contact between the two. Oh, they've gone straight into the wall. Straight into the wall, side by side. Oh, and that is Javi in the wall, and I think that one might get investigated later on. That might be a steward report incoming. Oh, that is a collision. I think Javi and Snipes have been watching too much Carlos Sainz. Wow, that is a hit. That was a collision or something. That's a certain. Kellen is now at the back of the grid. Javi just been overtaken by Chris. Chris up in the 13th. Rupee gains a position. Owen gets a position as well. Blaze is still in the middle of nowhere there in 10th. Same with Capel, but Capel is now just about a second off the back of Skyline. Let's have a look. So, also, I want a second view of that one as well. That looked very much straight down the line. I don't think Javi was ever getting that car stopped at any point. Snipes is going to have a bit of an issue here with Slim. Slim's got better tyres for certain. Look at that. Front's better, rear's equal. Yeah, Slim's going to have a good shot at this, but we've just seen what happened to Lambo versus the M6 on the prior on the prior lap. I don't think Slim's going to be able to get close enough here down the hill to have a real go at this M6. Nope, he's not. Or is he? It looks like he might. It looked like he was getting an opportunity there, Slim, with the drift into the hairpin, but no go there, and he stays behind Snipes for now. Snipes 2.6 seconds off the back of Philip. Again, yeah, soft versus mediums at the moment. Snipes has got to take care of the problem he's currently facing first before he can even think of fifth. Let's have a look. Go further back 1 second. Capale is half a second off the back of Skyline, so we might have multiple battles unfolding as we currently watch Owen with Rupee 10th, 11th and 12th currently in this race. Rupee's going to take a far tighter line there. It's going to be nicer for him out the exit as well. Owen might come under a little bit of a threat here. Is Rupee close enough? No one at the back is. So is Rupee close enough to go for turn one? He might. He's looking for it, but he's not going to go for it. He did get within a 10th. The opportunity was definitely there if he wanted it. Decided not to go for it. Oh, a little bit of a snap there by Owen. Will that open the door again? But it isn't for now anyway. Owen just going to defend for a little while longer. Skyline here is defending from Capale, and then I don't know if Capale's going to have enough in the tank here to go after Skyline on this particular straight. Slim might against Snipes. Actually, no, he won't. It also looks like Philip didn't take that too well either. So Philip, yeah, 2.2 seconds now is just losing ground against the M6 and the Lamborghini. It was 2.6 the last time we were here. It's now 2.1. Further forward, 6 seconds now between Philip and Viking. 2.6 split Viking and Zico. 4.6 split Super GT and Zico. And it's 9.5 seconds. 9.5 seconds here between Devil and Super GT. Philip is on the medium tire, yes. That does explain the gap, the pace drop, the pace between the two and the gap coming down. That is an explanation. Yeah, 1.9 seconds now split the two. Yeah, it's 9.5 seconds that split Devil and Super GT, by the way. This is going to be huge. The end of this race, they might come back together, and Super GT is going to have to make an overtake. The real question is when and how long is he going to have left to do it? If he gets close enough to Devil, that is. Let's have a look here. Let's go back towards the middle of the pack. Snipes is still defending well from Slim. They're going to go down the straight here. I don't think Slim... Again, Slim is just not close enough to make this work, I don't think. So half a second. This is a gigantic straight. It's not a good situation when you've got a Lamborghini here versus the M6. And you've got Philip in the actual... in vision now when you go... in that camera angle, so that's not good news for Philip. You'll have Snipes and Slim arriving on the scene sooner rather than later. Capale still not able to get by Skyline either. They are both... Well, no, Capale's on the soft, Skyline's on the mediums. Capale started on the mediums, I'm pretty sure. We will wait and see how that unfolds. 5 seconds then split Capale and Flays, and then 3.3 to Rupee, who's finally got past Owen. It's Owen is currently in 11th place, and he is 0.8 of a second down on the German. And Javi is really going to have to... Javi's going to have to find something here, because this has not been a good day at the office for him. Currently down in 13th, did get Chris back. He's got to find at least the two positions directly in front of him, and then start making his way further forward. Alright, Let's have a look as we go further forward here. Skyline still against Capel, but Skyline still winning out at the moment. Same for Snipes against Slim. However, Snipes now has some help because he's got Philip directly in front of him. This should not be much of an issue here. Snipes is going to get the slipstream, well, going to get some sort of slipstream. It won't be a lot of slipstream given the fact that he's still just outside of the second range for certain. On Philip will survive for a lap or two longer, and Snipes is going to defend well enough from Slim so nothing again happens here as we head down into the hairpin between Snipes and Slim and company. Devil is now into the pits, so Devil is into the pits. Lap 20 of 38, so it looks like he's doing something like a 10-10-18. So we'll see whether or not that is something to look out for later on into this race. In comes Snipes as well. Super GT stays out, obviously. He's still in his medium stint, so he's going to go a few laps longer here. 6 seconds split Super GT and Zika. Devil is now starting to refuel. 2.8 seconds split Zico and Viking. Viking is doing a decent job catching up, but he isn't really breaking any ground at this current time. Philip still defending. Well, Philip has now got Slim on the back of him. It was Snipes. Snipes then went into the pit, so we'll see how that unfolds. But for now, Philip has got Slim on the back and back of him, and that is not good news for Philip, because Slim seems to be on a little bit of a charge right now. We go down the hill. Philip's still far enough ahead of Slim for it not to be a problem on this lap. Devil came out directly ahead of his teammates, so he's got a nice little buffer. No Rupee, no, realistically not a lot of anyone else to stop him now, so he's got clean air. Just a case of whether or not he is going to put this to good use. Rupee's still ahead of Owen for now. Owen seems to be charging though. Isn't going to get him here. Happy there in the distance, so he's starting to put himself back onto the back of these two. Kellen and Chris at the back as well, just trying to get themselves as good of a race as they possibly can. We go further up. Still Skyline and Capel going at it, nothing really changing. Albeit Zico has gapped Viking a significant amount on this last lap. 1:49.8 compared to a it's only half a second actually. Mostly the last lap he gained most of his time. That's 7/10 of a second. Was it 7/10 of a second? Actually, it's about 9/10 of a second actually on the prior lap. And then an extra couple on the lap we just finished. So Slim now half a second back on Philip, or was momentarily, and is now back outside of a second. Every single time I come onto these, onto these two, the gap just extends. And that means that there's nothing really here that Slim is doing against Philip. Philip has got this under control at this point in time. Skyline is still against Capel for what feels like the 20th lap in a row. Capel seems to be a lot closer this time though. We might get a move here. He is catching up, slowly but surely, down the straight. Still has the downhill section to go as well here in this down toward the hairpin. Surely he's going to get enough alongside. Surely he's going to go for this. Surely he's got the inside line. Surely he's got the position as well. And needs a little bit of contact on the way through. There was definitely a slamming the door shut there by Capel on Skyline. And Capel gets the move there up into 6th. Slim now into the pits. Capel makes the move and then heads into the pits. What was the point? There's Devil in the background there. You can see the white and somewhat yellow car compared to the yellow and black. Alright, let's see if anything is going to unfold now. So Devil is still 1.5 ahead of Place. Rupee there as well. It's 5.7 now between Super GT and Zico. Zico's got a good position right now. If he can just eke into that gap that is currently set up by Super GT. Super GT also still going after Devil as much as he physically can here. 50.1 in the last lap here for Super GT at 49.7 for Devil. So Devil is still making a gap at the moment. So we've got a few laps still to have everything unfold. It's a second now between Skyline and Devil. Obviously Slim pit on the last lap, so that battle is no longer a thing. Skyline 9 seconds off the back of Philip. Flay still has a 3.2 second gap on Rupee, and the longer that goes on, the more Halex will be happy, because that means there's still no help coming in the direction of Super GT. Happy is now right behind Owen. That is not good news for Owen, it's for certain. Then Kellen 5 seconds off the back of that. Slim out in 12th. 1.7 seconds ahead of Snipes, who's 4 seconds ahead of Capale. And then Chris is tailed off now at the back for, until Kellen pits. Owen still defending well against Tabby at the moment. Rupee has now been drawn into this battle, or had been until they hit that chicane. Chicane not really doing Owen any favours whatsoever there. Rupee breaking a second yet again. Devil also now within half a second of Skyline, so he finally has some traffic. Let's see how he deals with this traffic. Could potentially be dealt with very easily, but he's going to have to do it sooner rather than later. The longer he's stuck behind Skyline, the more this suits Super GT. Oh, that might have been contact on the way through. Oh, don't know if that was clean. Skyline lost the position. Well, there's a lot of tyre screeching there. That would indicate there was some sort of contact on the way through, but Devil's not going to care. He's just going to drive off into the distance now. I'm sure we'll get to see a second replay of that from there. It would be sick or something if I'm wrong later on. But yeah, Devil's not going to care. Either way, whether or not it was contact or not, he's got himself through and he's got himself 10 seconds of clear air now. And that is a large gap to just waltz into. That is a very large gap, and it's a gap that, if he can take advantage of, might make this latter part of the race extremely hard for Super GT. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much in variation in terms of strategy by the guys today. Here comes Blaze on Skyline in the background there as well, and neither of them got a good exit. As we are currently going down to turn 1, and Skyline is going to hang on against Blaze for now. 0.2 of a second, it's 1/10 of a second, maybe even Blaze might go for it now. Skyline's going long, he's going wide, and Blaze is going to up to the inside. He might have him. He is going to have him. Blaze to the inside there and takes 6th place off of Skyline. It's a nice little move there, just to take advantage of the shortcomings from Skyline at the moment. Maybe just a little bit too much wear on the tyres now for Skyline, and he's not keeping up with Flaze either. Flaze is off into the distance now, and Rupee is the next car up. Alright, let's see how we continue on here then. Habby still behind Owen, that hasn't changed. Snipes is ahead of Slim now. It's ahead of Slim, yeah, and that's 1.9 seconds to gap. Snipes is doing a good job. Still has to drive as fast as humanly possible because he's still got a lot of catching up to do in terms of the top 5 in particular. Capel 5 seconds off the back of Slim. He needs to start making his way forward. Chris is just floundering at the back of them as well. So Snipe's still breaking the gap on Slim at the moment. Javi still 0.2 of a second behind Owen as well. Owen doing enough of a job to hang on onto this place against Javi, who has gone round again! And he is round again! That is strike number 3 for Javi tonight. He had the one with, I think it was, I can't remember which one it was, earlier on. I think it was Snipes. But he spanned twice on himself now. Just lost the rear of the car there, and well, that puts a dent into a very, very bad night. At the office here, there's some Ferrarics, and for Javi in particular. Alright, going through into the second sector, in the middle of the second sector now, tunnel. After just digesting everything that happened there with Javi crashed. Flays has a 1.5 second time penalty, and that will drop him back behind Skyline. The real question is that going to be enough to drop him behind Rupee? Super GT is now into the pits. So here is the interesting part of the race. What is the gap between Super GT and Devil? That's the big question that remains. Viking and Zico both into the pits as well. Devil did close about 3 seconds in on his teammate and gapped his other teammate by about 4. So Philip inherits the lead of the race for the point in time. But it's Halix 1-2 for now. Well, 1-2-3 actually for now, and I don't think they would have been able to say that very often. Or will it be? Flays might be coming out behind Super GT here, and that's good news. That's extremely good news for Super GT. That is incredible news. There is no hold up now, and it's 4 seconds. The gap is 4 seconds with 12 to go. If Super GT can close the 4 second gap, which could be interesting. It's medium tires for Devil, it's soft tires for Super GT. You would think that Super GT had this 4 second gap in him. All the signs we've seen throughout this race and all the signs we've seen throughout last week as well would suggest that that gap is not insurmountable. It is still 4 seconds. Hasn't gained anything on this lap in particular. So, Philip still leads the race. Devil in second. Super GT in third. Flays in fourth. Rupee in fifth for now. They've still got a pit, though. And it's a question of whether or not Rupee can get himself past Flays. And then whether or not Super GT can get Devil. That's the 2 questions we've got left now. This could be a decent point swing in the direction of FGR. Depending on how Ryoki is doing in the second lobby. Flays is now into the pits, so Rupee stays out. So, here's the actual reflection on how we are in terms of this race. It is 3.2. And all of a sudden that gap there came down really quickly. It was 4 the last time we saw it. It's now 3.1. 9 tenths comes off in essentially half a lap. Rupee 4 seconds behind. He starts to pit. The gap is there to Zico next. And how easy is this going to be for Zico? Is he going to be able to go to the inside here against Rupee? Gives Rupee a little bit of a love tap there. It doesn't look like Zico's going to be able to get this done before the tunnel. Rupee doing a good job defending, maybe causing Zico a little bit of problem here. This could get very interesting very quickly. Zico's got to get this move done. You think the longer that he sticks behind here, the worse this gets. And he's going to make this move done. He's going to get this done. Yeah, down the inside here of Rupee. Especially by the time they hit the end of the hill. And Zico to the inside line does get the position there on Rupee. Rupee still has to pit. He is just being a menace to Project Platypus hopes at the moment. The gap 6.1 between Zico and Super GT. And the gap at the front is 2.2. Another 9/10 of a second come off the board in a lap. And I was saying earlier on, 4 seconds is not insurmountable. 4 seconds is going to be made to look like light work if they're going to do it at 9/10 of a second, 9/10 of a second every lap. Actually, it might be a little bit more because he's under that 2 second gap now. 48.7 on the last lap, 49.9. He's actually chunked out 2 whole seconds. Wow. Oh, it's 48.7. No, 1.2 seconds. Sorry, I can't count. 1.2 seconds there for Super GT. 1.2. And that's still a ton of time. Whether or not it's 1 or 2 seconds, there's still a ton of time to be gaining every single lap. He should get him. He's definitely going to catch up to him. Whether or not then it becomes an opportunity of overtaking. Devil has got to make this as hard as he humanly can. There's 1.4 now, the lead at the front. Zico, 6.3. He might have a chance later on. Snipes it up into 6. He's 2.8 off of Philip. He's got to get it going again. Slim there after that. Capel in 8th. Flade in 9th. Rupee in 10th. He's fighting himself against Owen, and I think that's Skyline in the background there as well. Rupee is just doing enough. He got himself in 10th at this point in time, and at the very least, he's got to go after Flames. He's got to get those points, get points off of them somehow. Kellen there as well. Kellen's actually there in the background here. There's still a top 10 possibility for Kellen if he can get a couple of moves made. Javi is at the back of the grid with Chris in 14th. So Pegasus getting themselves represented in Lobby A is just a nice sight to see. Let's see if Chris will get anything higher than last place though. Rupee is still defending well against Owen. Let's go back towards the front for a split second. Let's see what we're doing here. Philip is actually gapping Snipes for now. 4 seconds now between Zico and Viking. 6.3 is the gap between Zico and Super GT, and the gap between Super GT and Devil is in and around 1 second. 48.7 on the last lap, 49.5 for Devil, so it's about 0.8 of a second that came off the board in that one. And Super GT has him in his sights. We are going to have a grandstand finish to this race, I think. It looks like it's not taking a lot of time off of this one, in this lap here, Super GT. Coming down the straight, it's about a second. This is no large chunks now. He's got himself into dirty air. Let's see how he deals with it. And this is where you would expect most of the time to start coming off the board, that final sector on the soft tires, especially fresher soft tires. It should realistically come down. These should start to pressure. Super GT needs to get Devil, and then he needs to try and build a gap just in case the tyres start to swing back at the end. It's 6 seconds flat to Zico as well. So Zico now within 6.5 of the race lead. Project Platypus still not out of a of a big scoring hole today at this point in time. Super GT did look to the inside just a little bit there. He's within 0.2 of a second, or was. He is again now. He's going down into turn 3. Got the inside line for the lead of the race. Can he do it? Will he do it? No. Devil's going to defend on the outside and gets a better exit. Just about hangs on with the medium tires for now. Super GT flashing him. Not entirely sure what you're going to achieve with that. Devil is not going to let this go by any means. This is just going to be a slobber knock all the way to the line now. Is Super GT going to get by here? He's definitely a lot closer. He's definitely got an opportunity. He's got an opportunity to take the lead of the race here. Slipstream both in the M6, so there shouldn't be too much of a difference there, depending on what downforce they're running. Here comes Super GT to the outside for the lead of the race, and he's an entire car length ahead, but he might have gone a bit too wide. Is he still ahead on the exit? He is still ahead on the exit, and he takes the lead of this race off of Devil here on lap 31. Super GT now needs to build a little bit of a gap just in case those tires start to swing back at the end. That was really good overtake, hanging it on the outside there. Albeit I don't even think he was almost, well, he might have been expecting Devil to fight that back immediately, which Devil did. Yeah, Devil did try and fight that back as soon as he physically could. Tried to hang it on the inside, and if he had actually managed to hold it on the inside there, that would have been spectacular. But not to be. Super GT now has a half-second lead at the front of this race, and all of a sudden, we might be looking at 2 from 2. But once again, he's got 2 from 2, but with no help. It's not as impressive of a race as it was last week for Halux, but again, it's not much worse. .4 now, he's starting to gap him. He's done exactly what he needed to do, get out in front and just floor it. There's one thing to note here, Devil's place in second isn't entirely safe. We have 6 to go, and if those soft, oh, never mind. That makes everything I was about to say a mute point because Zico got 1.5. I was about to say that Zico has got it within 3.5, but you might as well attack all the time he just gained all the way back on. Viking 3.9. Viking might be actually brought closer to Zico into this one at the end of this penalty as well. But the top 4 should be the top 4 unless everything goes painfully awry. Snipes is being gapped by Philip rather drastically at the moment. Slim is starting to come back. Blaze is 3.1 seconds off Slim, 2.8 seconds out of Capale, and Rupee's down in 12th now. Rupee might be about to be overtaken by Skyline properly, and he is. And Skyline is going to get that position, 11th on the grid right now for the V2 driver. Habit has come off the bottom, and Chris drops back to 15. Kellen is the next one on the list there. Rupee and Skyline are still fighting. Skyline getting a lot of dirt kicked up onto his tyres there. Rupee's got smart. He might go for it here. He doesn't go for it here into the chicane. There's an interesting choice not to go for it because there's no help you're getting at all. Also, Capale has dropped down. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Capale here, but Capale has now joined the list of these 4 drivers as well. As Aero GT is just starting to falter in the latter stages of this race, that's for certain. Here comes Rupee to the inside of Skyline. Maybe something might be happening here. Rupee on the inside gets by. There's a little bit of contact, but does get by on Skyline in turn 4. And Rupee up in the 10th. He's got Capale in his sights now. definitely a top 10 position available here for Rupee. We'll see. We'll go towards the front again after we see Rupee attempt to overtake Capel here, and should be relatively easy down this straight. Owen is going to help his teammate wherever he can. Slipstream is going to work here. But the outside, Rupee, is he going to stick it? He is ahead on the apex of the corner. Capel is still there though. And he is still going to be in front as well. A little bit of contact again between Rupee and the person he's attempting to overtake. Here comes Capel on the inside, and we're going 3 wide almost with Skyline, and Rupee on the inside does get by. And he's up in the 10th, and Skyline might be able to overtake Capel here as well. And nope, Capel's going to have the inside line, and it's going to defend that, slam that door shut without much of an effort. Blaze has gained an extra second in all of this, so towards the front. They've got a Slim here. Snipes in front of that. Snipes is going to have to defend like his life depends on it if he wants to stay in 6th this race. Slim might get the better of him. Philip is in a world of his own. Viking is right beside Zico now, and maybe, just maybe, there might be the ability to teamwork here. We've got a couple of laps still to go. There is still a chance to gain that 5.3 seconds. It's unlikely at this point, but it's still a possibility, and it's also 3.7. It's currently the gap that sits between Super GT and Devil with 4 to go. The tyres have not swung back yet. The tyres have not swung back yet. It's now over the top of 4 seconds, and if these tyres are going to swing back into Devil's favour, he's going to need them to do it now. Because the longer this goes, there's no way, absolutely no way, you would expect the 4-second gap to crumble on its own. It would require a mistake from here if the tyres aren't going to fall off drastically at the end. Zico 5.3, still there with Viking as well. Honestly, they don't get, it's not a driver's championship here. They don't get anything for who ends where in terms of between these two drivers, who ends 3rd, who ends 4th, that doesn't matter. So if they get close enough, especially down this straight, I would be bumping, see how close you can get to Devil. You've got to give it a go. Platypus rules. Slim is still there against Snipes as well. Let's have a look. Has anything happened further back? Flade is just dropping back towards Owen and company now. Rupee is 3.7 seconds ahead of Capel. And Capel and Skyline are going at it. And Kellen's here now as well. Capel on the inside still has the advantage at the moment against Skyline, but now he's on the outside. That's position lost. It might be multiple positions lost if Kellen goes for it here. It's soft versus medium versus soft. And that's what's doing Capel in at the moment. Kellen again sliding the car. He slid it too much. Right hand side into the wall. He's going to have damage, and that will probably do it for him. I'll leave Capel and Skyline to fight this one out for the final, for 11th place. And Skyline's going to win down the straight here on lap 35. Capel is hoping for the life of him that these tyres are going to fall back. Owen's tyres are significantly worse than Rupee's right now. Let's see if Rupee is going to be able to do anything by the end of this one. Blades 1.7 behind Snipes. Snipes' tyres are not reaching the end. Snipes' tyres are not reaching the end. He is in trouble. He is in huge trouble here. He's in 7th. He's already been overtaken by Slyn. His Blade is going to get him rather easily, you would think, with 3 to go. There is no way Snipes is going to avoid this. Oh, and there goes Slim! There goes Slim, and the Lambo is spun again. It's just a different Lambo this time. And Arix has had arguably the worst possible day at the office. I don't think they could have had a worse time if they tried. Pale getting in front as well. Slim down into 12th. Rupee's going after Owen. That's now a battle for 8th, which they will take. It'll sooner rather than later become a battle for 7th because Snipes' tires are going to fall off a cliff. So whilst he's not getting a lot of help, he might get some help. Might get a top 7 out, top 7 out of Rupee here, and depending on what Rihoki is doing in Lobby B, it might be interesting at the end of this. Here we go to the inside. Rupee, is he going to be able to bring himself alongside Owen? No, Owen is doing enough again just to hang on against Rupee here. It's been a good battle between the two of them. Let's have a look further forward. Blaze is ahead of Snipes, 1.1 second, and there's no real change there. There's no real change that's going to happen apart from unless someone spins out. Philip is in no man's land, and again, Halex, the beneficiaries of a couple of spins and the beneficiaries of a really good team performance, an all-round performance, again by Halex, and it's what's been doing FGR, it's what's been shooting FGR in the foot here. FGR has had incredible solo drives, but nothing as a team, whereas Halex has done nothing special in terms of a solo drive, but as a team, it's been outstanding. There we go. Devil is getting closed in on by Zico again. Unfortunately, it's too little, too late. Realistically, 6.5 seconds. There's no way that's coming back. No way that's coming back. That's game, set, and match. So that's this race. Unless Super GT dies, and I've just done arguably the biggest commentator's curse I've done, there's no way. There's no way he's losing this race from here. And you got Devil in second. He's not realistically going to get caught by Zico, who should be fine then third. But yeah, we're about to head onto the final lap of this race. There's no real battles going on. Snipes' tires have gone, yeah. They've gone. They've well and truly gone. He has no hope. There's no way. He's going to end. There is a possibility that this man still ends last. And if I was Snipes, I'd be getting out of the way of my teammate rather drastically right now. Can't afford to do more damage. And that's exactly what is he going to do here? Skyline should be going by. This should not be a difficult overtake. It isn't a difficult overtake. There goes Skyline and Capel, the next one on the list. Going through here, I also want to have a look. Yeah, Rupee got Owen. Rupee has got Owen with 1 to go. So Rupee is up in a 7th. They are nowhere onto the back of, nowhere near the back of Blaze. But as we go down the straight here, we've got like 5 or 6 cars driving it to the line, driving into turn 1, sorry, and Capel's up into 10th. Slim is the next car on the list. That should realistically be a fairly easy overtake as well. And there you go into turn 3, or out of turn 3, and Snipes has got a penalty just for good measure, so Kellen will get him. And probably Javi as well. As Super GT has a half-second penalty, it will not matter in any way, shape or form. 7 seconds to the good. And again, we thought it might have been a lot, well, it was a lot closer than it was last week. We thought it might have been a lot closer than it currently has been. Devil has done a good job, but again, his tyres is his detriment. And if you're going to have tires like that, you never stand a chance of beating a driver like this. And Super GT won handsomely the first week, and will win handsomely again in week 2. Super GT and FGR to the line, wins in Trial Mountain, wins in the States, makes it 2 from 2 in his quest for 8 from 8. Devil gets 2nd, Zico will get 3rd, Viking will get 4th. Philip will get 5th. He's been relatively unbothered by anybody in terms of society for the last 20 laps. Flazel gets 6th after essentially being hand like a dozen positions there at the end of the race. He won't care though. Flazel gets 6. Halex will extend the gap at the top of the tree through 2. So Halex, the top constructors, the top esports team through 2. Ruby gets 7th. Owen gets 8th. Skyline will get 9th. Slim will get 10th. Capale is running out of steam at the end, gets 11th. Javi will beat out Kellen in the end. Just, but will. And Kellen will get 13th. Snipes will get 14th. And Chris will round out the grid here. What a race. And again, it wasn't as convincing by any means from Super GT this week, but it was still a rather convincing race in the end. Got past him on 31 laps, sorry. Not 71. Got past him on 31 and never really looked back. Just taking a couple of screenshots there. Save the replay just to make sure that thing. I've been told that I have to wait and let auto try something. But yeah, what a race that was. Devil tried. Devil has the pace. But every single, he has definitely got the pace to challenge Super GT. Possibly even take a win on, off of him this season. But he's got to sort the tyres out. He has got to sort the tyres out. You're never going to win a race driving on tyres that worn out that quickly. You see, not Skyline, Super GT 3, 4, 5 laps in certain respects longer if he wanted to. Never really stood a chance. But yeah, at the end of the day, once again, Halex is going to be your highest scorers. They've put in one magnificent team performance all over again. And elsewhere, another good day. It's a very good day at the office for Project Platypus, and about as bad as it possibly could have got if you were Arix. And that's going to be the main talking point, I think, potentially going into week 3. How is Arix going to fix the issues? And how are FGR going to get a team performance out of this team? They're getting solo performances, just not as a team, as they need to hunt down Halex. But until this time next week, I think that's goodbye from me. I've enjoyed everyone's company. FGR 2 from 2 in terms of the wins. They've got to find a lot of work. They've got a lot of work to do still. And I'll see you next week for week 3. Bye.